this is probably going to be my most controversial review. No matter what I say here, it's just not going to come out well, I would say. Because I saw this movie back in March when it debuted, and I had some thoughts on it, and I didn't really want to say anything at the time because so many people really seemed to enjoy this movie. And so many people were saying how great it was, and how many people were saying how many people said it was great. It was already on IMDb's top 250 list. And basically, it felt like I couldn't go anywhere without someone saying how great this is and how we need to restore the Snyderverse and everything. But, so I kind of waited a bit to review this, honestly. So, that's just a disclaimer. I avoided reviewing this for the longest time. And now that some time has passed and it's removed from IMDb's top 250 list, I figured now it would be easier to kind of just talk about it, kind of get some thoughts out there. And this is not going to be good. And I do have some spoilers in this video, so fair warning if you have not seen this movie that's been out for 2 months. So Zack Snyder's Justice League is the definitive director's cut of Justice League that came out back in 2017. And it's officially done by Zack Snyder, not Joss Whedon. And it's about the Justice League coming together, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, The Flash, Cyborg, and eventually Superman. The movie's old enough. And basically it gives new context into various things that didn't really have any context in the first one. So, yeah. So I'm not really a big fan of Zack Snyder as a director. Obviously, we know about what happened, but I'm not a big fan of Zack Snyder as a filmmaker. I haven't really liked any of his films. I didn't like 300, Sucker Punch, what else? Didn't really care for BVS at all, really. So I didn't think he was really the best choice to direct it. And obviously we know what happened on the set of Justice League and what happened in post-production. He had a terrible tragedy in his family and Joss Whedon took over and basically kind of made it Avengers 2.0, basically. And what annoyed me a lot during this whole thing is that a lot of people were saying we got to restore the Snyderverse or, make Zack Snyder's cut of the Justice League. And then it was announced that it's happening, and they were going to film new scenes. So it's wait, it's out. It's out there somewhere, and they're going to film scenes for it. It made no sense. So, and I thought the theatrical cut of Justice League was not really that good. The tone was so uneven. The characters didn't really do much for me. The humor wasn't that good. Obviously, the mustache. Just why? And to be fair, it also doesn't help that I watched the theatrical cut of Justice League before watching this to kind of give myself a refresher. So that also might have a reason why I didn't care for it so much. Spoiler, I didn't really love this movie. I will admit here, I think it's better than the theatrical cut, but that's not really saying much. I think the honest trailer was they took a movie that was pretty bad, and they turned it into a movie that was pretty mediocre. But compared to the other version, it's amazing. And that's kind of how I feel. And that's kind of how it looks. And it's just, I don't know why. Okay, so I feel like I'm going to be complaining about this movie too much in a bit. But let's start with the stuff I admittedly do like. They give a lot of context to a bunch of things. Cyborg actually has a character in this movie. Unlike, everything else when he's just kind of a side character. And Ray Fisher, he's really good in this cut. He's, you really enjoy him as a character. You really understand everything he's going through. Also, we do see the Themyscira more and the women there, and there's a lot more context there. They're not just a bunch of, weak women who just, let the bad guy take over, and it's actually very tragic. And Steppenwolf is also not just some generic doom and gloom villain. He actually is working for Darkseid, and it works for a bit, and that's kind of important. The backstory works here, and more context would have been better for a bunch of these scenes, Joss Whedon. Oh well. And overall, most of the performances, they're fine as well. Ben Affleck, he's fine. I don't really like his interpretation of Batman, but he's fine. His performance is fine. Gal Gadot is fine as Wonder Woman. Jason Momoa, he's still enjoyable as Aquaman, even though I also didn't really care for Aquaman too much. I always liked him in the role. you know, Henry Cavill, when he finally returns, he's fine, and admittedly he's better than... Admittedly, I think he gets better as Superman, but who knows how much longer he'll be Superman. And overall, the tone is admittedly better in this one. It's obviously a lot more darker, it's rated R, and it actually works. It's not like, oh, it's pretty dark, but here's a lighthearted scene afterwards, and like, it's kind of supposed to be funny. It's like, what are you doing there, Joss Whedon? Not Zack Snyder, what are you doing, Joss Whedon? And this is definitely more Zack Snyder's vision than it is his, so let's talk about the stuff I didn't like. And this is really the spoiler territory, because, like, why did some of these things have to happen? Like, I'm just watching it, questioning some of these things. I'm like, why? Why did you do that? I don't know why you thought this was a good idea. So, technically, like, obviously the movie's in a 4:3 ratio, so it looks smaller. And I'm just going throughout it going, why? Honestly, there's no reason for it, to be honest. Normally, I do like it when movies are kind of, like, different, you know, cinematography-wise. Like, take The Lighthouse, which was shot in black and white. Or 1917, which was made to look like one long continuous take. But this movie, it honestly has no reason to be 4:3, to be honest. It serves as a distraction rather than, you know, anything artistic. And speaking of which, the slow motion. There it is again. Zack Snyder in his slow motion. He can't stop, unfortunately. And the slow motion, admittedly, this is the one thing I think the theatrical cut kind of did better. It's that in the theatrical cut, only the Flash was shown with slow motion at times to show he uses his powers. And looking back, that was kind of cool. But in this one, they do show that scene again the same way, basically. Meanwhile, they show all these other superheroes in slow motion, so it makes the Flash look not nearly as cool as he did. I don't really like this version of the Flash, to be honest. I prefer the CW version, surprisingly. Also, the Flash himself, Ezra Miller, you know, I don't really like him as a character in this. I feel like they're trying too hard to make him like the Spider-Man. What Spider-Man is in the MCU, they're trying to turn that into the Flash. I don't know why. Because he was really popular, I guess. And they're still trying to do it here. Like, they definitely did it in the theatrical cut. It's still in the Zack Snyder's cut. And it still doesn't work for me, unfortunately. Meanwhile, the music when Wonder Woman appears, it got so annoying. Because, like, every time that you see her, they have her thing going, yeah, or whatever. Like, it was so dumb. It got so annoying after a while. You could play a drinking game with every time that happens. Oh my god. And also there's like some random moments that are just like sprinkled throughout it, and it's like, you know, maybe after a scene where that's really good, or like there's context, it's like, okay, I look at that as a new perspective now. I'm glad I saw that. I'm glad I saw more of that, and now I actually really like this scene. I wonder what you have next. Then there's a scene involving Nazis. I'm like, why? Okay. I don't know why it was there. It just feels random. Meanwhile, Martian Manhunter appears, and I don't... It doesn't really... Martian Manhunter appears in the last, like, 10 minutes of this movie. And why? Like, it's revealed, oh, I was actually here all along. Particularly, I was with, you know, I was next to Lois Lane. I was as Martha Kent. I'm like, why? What was the significance of that? There was no point to that. It's like, why? And speaking of, like, the last bit of it, like, after, you know, they win, they save the day, they beat Steppenwolf, there's this whole 30-minute epilogue, essentially. And I just thought it was unnecessary. Like, I'm one of the few people who, like, kind of defended Jared Leto as Joker for a bit. Like, I couldn't see what he's doing to the character. I kind of wish I saw more. And now that I saw more, I kind of wish I didn't. He was bad. He was so bad. It was just so unnecessary. Why did they do it this way? I don't know why. And basically, what I was kind of thinking with this is that I don't mind long movies at all, but this movie is 4 hours long, and honestly, I think it would have worked better as like a mini-series rather than a full movie. Like, they were originally going to do this as a mini-series, and then they were like, nope, this is going to be a movie. So... And honestly, I think the pacing would have been better if it was a miniseries. I think it would have been more impactful as that. But since that didn't happen, this is what we got. I mean, again, I do think things work here. I do think that the context is a lot better here. The action scenes are still really good. The performances are still really good for the most part. It's just, when you really start to think about it, like, why did they add this? Why did they put this in there? Why did they put that stupid music in? I don't want to say it falls apart, but I just think it's a little overrated, honestly. Obviously, I feel bad for what happened to Zack Snyder. I feel sorry for him and his family. But I just wish this movie was better. I'm just thankful that it's better than the theatrical cut. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll give Zack Snyder's Justice League 2.5 out of 4 stars. Stream it. Again, I don't hate it. I just think it's overrated. That's gonna be my most controversial thing on the internet. That's gonna be my legacy. So what'd you think of Zack Snyder's Justice League? Do you understand where I'm kind of coming from with this? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What are your thoughts on the other Justice League movie, even though I can probably guess? Comment down below. Also, who's your favorite member of the Justice League? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and stay safe.